You're probably thinking that your body is so unique and your problem is so specific that it needs the stars to align in order for you to summon the combination of perfect variables for you to overcome this injury. And at the end of the day, right, as specific and as unique your situation may be, you are still a human being. You still have a heartbeat. You still have a set of joints. Those joints have certain cells. Those cells, when placed under the right conditions, will repair and they will get stronger no matter what your beliefs are, right? And why do I know this? I have trained thousands of elite soldiers when I was in the parachute regiment in building their bodies to be strong and resilient. I've left the army 2 years ago and now I work with grapplers who are arguably more injured than any demographic I've ever worked with in my life. And I help them get rid of those injuries and build their physical body armor so they become less frequent. At the end of the day, injuries are inevitable if you are an ambitious, active, crazy man, and I encourage all men to pursue them endeavors. But where it gets really sad is people's lack of ability to overcome these issues, right? And I'm going to talk about overcoming these issues from a principles and concepts point of view, because at the end of the day, your situation is unique. I could sit here and talk about rehab protocols for the LCL or the ACL, and that'd be very specific to the ACL. However, it doesn't matter what your issue is. The things that are holding you back are the path in which you are willing to choose. For those that are new to the channel, by the way, right, my name is Paul Green. I don't edit my videos because I'm fucking sick to death of heavily edited shit brainwashing you and just rotting your brains, right? So this is literally me talking to you as a fucking man, as a mate that wants to help you fucking sort these issues out, right? So if you appreciate that, subscribe to the channel. That's what you get from me. And yeah, I'll mumble my words sometimes, and you know, I could easily edit this, but I'm not going to, because I value your brain, you know, more than most people on the internet. So, injury happens, right? Again, like I said, it's inevitable, right? What you do immediately after an injury is the most important thing, right? And this is a difficult decision to make, and I want you to make this decision correctly from this point onwards. And if you don't make this decision now, or you don't change your mindset in this instance, you're gonna always struggle. And I really, really mean that, right? And let me get really specific now. Injury happens, what you do next. The injury creates pain, right? That survival part of your brain is gonna be running rampant in your head, telling you to not do anything that creates symptoms, right? That is an evolutionary process that has literally happened through millions of years of us being on this planet, right? However, there is a huge trap when you start going into the realms of avoiding pain and reducing pain. Because what is pain? Pain is just a response to the underlying problem. So if you start spending a lot of time, energy and money on pain reduction, a feeling, you are chasing a feeling rather than chasing the result of getting rid of this injury, first and foremost, and then one step further than that, making sure that joint is so strong and robust that these issues don't bother you again in the future as often. That's exactly what I do in my program, by the way. If you want to work with me on a one-to-one basis, the first link in the description is for that. But you know, if you're happy just to sit here and enjoy all this, then fucking happy days, because I love talking about this stuff. If you chase pain reduction, you will enter realms that are very short-lived. 2 hours of relief, 1 hour of relief, feeling better for the rest of the day, right? But you don't actually solve the problem, because the pain isn't the problem. The underlying issue is the problem, right? When you get this wrong, and most people do get this wrong, you will end up going to see a physiotherapist, getting a resistance band, doing some massage, doing some cupping, doing some scraping, doing some yoga. You will choose methods that improve how you feel, but you are not injured. You haven't got a feelings-based injury. You have got a loss of function, a loss of strength in an area, a lack of function and a lack of strength in an area. That is the problem. A lack of function, a lack of strength. Not the pain. You start trying to reduce pain, this doesn't improve ever. It never improves. And that is why, but I'm gonna give you a few more layers to this, because that's not enough to get you to act. I can guarantee that. I've spoke to many people about this before, and they look and they nod. Yeah, mate, that makes perfect sense, right? So you get most people, and I'm not saying just you, most people will get trapped into realms that are all about pain reduction instead of getting a physical outcome. Remember, your priority, even though it's very easy to get sucked into pain reduction because it hurts. However, if you shift that focus into getting a physical outcome, i.e. improving the range of motion of a joint, improving the strength of a joint, improving the resilience of a joint, what is going to be more effective? So think about it. Most men will try a certain pain reduction method, whether that be scraping, cupping, acupuncture, all of this stuff, manual therapy or whatever, right? And they'll feel a little bit of relief. They might book in for the next month, they might book in for the next month, and they're like, you know what? I've still got the issue. So what do? They try another one of those things, whether that's peptides or TRT. They try another one of those things, all in the bracket of pain reduction, emotion, chasing an emotion. It's so problematic, because if you just spent all of that time, energy and money on chasing a physical outcome, I'm going to tell you how to do that as well, by the way, don't worry. You would get the feeling of, okay, the pain is actually gone. I actually feel a lot more strong and capable in these positions now. Happy days. I can run, I can sprint, I can jump, I can change direction, I can mountain bike, I can do rock climbing, I can do jiu-jitsu. So this is hard to do, because you're literally fighting against the survival part of your brain. You're fighting against that part of yourself that is saying, don't train legs, you have an injured knee. When you know that you have to train your legs to improve the function and the strength of your knee joint. So it's an inner battle between risk assessment, shut up dickhead, I am listening, I'm going to be sensible to this risk assessment, and I'll tell you how to do that in a sec. But also chase or prioritize chasing a physical outcome. It always starts, it doesn't matter if you've got a back injury, a disc protrusion, an elbow injury, a shoulder injury, a hip injury, a knee injury. It always, the rules are the same. The first priority is improve pain-free range of motion, right? Before I get into the priorities, I'm just going to tell you straight up. In order for you to chase a physical outcome, you need to fully embrace where you are currently at, physically. Forget about pain for a second, just turn off that part of your brain. It's like, okay, where the hell am I currently? How much can that joint move without any pain, right? And one way I like to do this with all my clients is I get them to send me a video of that joint moving through its full range of motion. What I also, just so that's like a physical reference point, that's where they're currently at. When the pain does come on, when we increase the resistance, I get them to point to where the pain is, right? So you've now got a physical representation of where the pain is. Then I get them to say, how much do you feel the pain on a scale of 1 to 10? And a lot of times, you know, they'll give me a number, and that is the benchmark. It's how much does the joint move, how strong is it, and how much pain does that joint moving that joint cause? And if it doesn't cause any pain, then I'll add in an extra exercise that tests the joint a little bit more. Like instead of doing just basic knee extension, I might do a squat. And it's like, oh yeah, I feel it when I'm, you know, encroaching below 90 degrees on a squat. It's like, cool, we now know that information, we know the benchmark, and we know where we need to improve, because we're chasing a physical outcome. However, we are aware of the feelings, the pain, we don't want to overshoot. So what do? All I say to my guys is, look, we acknowledge the fact that we are injured. We just set a rule in place. And what I like to say is, Don't ever go above a 4 out of 10 for pain in the injured area. However, by doing that, you've now got a rule that ticks and satisfies the survival part of your brain, but you're prioritising that physical outcome. And then you start your journey, right? So by finding your baseline, establishing your baseline, I like to do this with videos. So I'll get my lads to send me a video and they literally show me how they move. And review the videos, so review your movement or review your current baseline every 4 weeks so you can see progress of range of motion, strength, and a reduction of symptoms. Like you can literally, you have physical proof of this, right? So that mindset shift is so important. And if you don't make that mindset shift from that emotional thinking, the pain reduction, because the pain isn't even the problem anyway, most blokes will get so fixated on, you know, this category. And listen, it's very profitable. It's very profitable you thinking about all of these things that cost a fortune, by the way, that prey on you listening, and they prey on you letting that survival part of your brain run rampant. Painkillers is an example of this. Again, America, you would take painkillers. Okay. The issue doesn't go away. You get stronger painkillers. You become then used to them painkillers. The issue doesn't go away. You're taking even stronger painkillers that are now starting to be addictive. Then you're taking even stronger painkillers like tramadol, you're on morphine. And it's all because your priority was pain reduction and not a physical outcome. I don't know how I can make this video more impactful without explaining what I have. I would love to talk more about this, right? But one thing I'll finish on is just how important, when you're chasing a physical outcome, how important numbers are, right? And it's not, when you say physical outcome, yes, you got your videos, you're armed with your videos, day one, week one videos, but then it's like, okay, cool. What exercises can I do to improve the strength of that joint? You've got your 4 out of 10 pain rating rule, and then it becomes, if you've got a fucking notebook and you are writing down how many reps, how many sets you're doing on each exercise and what exercises you are doing. And you have a priority of improving them numbers every single week. Having numbers as a foundation, but having one eye on that on the survival part of your brain, okay, acknowledge the fact that you're injured, means that these working sets that you're going to start doing are going to be so cautious, not overly cautious, but they're going to be so precise that you get an insane amount of benefit in a short space of time. And this leads me to the problem that I keep talking about in this video. Most people don't do this. Most people that have a knee injury avoid training their legs, avoid training their knees. They will avoid lunges. They will avoid, deep lunges. They will avoid deep squats. They will avoid training their legs. How on earth do you expect these areas of your body to get a physical outcome when you're not willing to strategically place the required stress in these areas to get that physical outcome? It's hard. And this is why people like me exist. I actually take people through this process and support them, because you're essentially overcoming fear of making it worse. That's fucking difficult. It is difficult, but it's manageable when you do it correctly. And that's exactly what my program's about. First link in the description is for that. Any questions on anything I've covered today, bang them in the comments. If you like the way I conduct myself, then subscribe to the channel, because this is what I love doing. I love talking on YouTube in a relaxed manner, without editing my videos, and without rotting your brains. See you in a bit.